Hello to everyone, welcome to our Kotlin training session program, and today we have starting of the Kotlin. So the basics we have to learn, just like here the history, what is a Kotlin, features versus Java, advantage and disadvantage. So just basic things we have to learn today. So if we go for the history and that, we can see that we have to learn a lot of things because of the origin of the Kotlin, how we started, how we can do the programs, how we can, that's what the differences between the Java and the Kotlin, and what the advantage and disadvantage of the Kotlin that we have to learn today. So if we're talking about the Kotlin, and we say that a very simple language, and Kotlin is general purpose, statically typed and open source programming language. It runs on JVM and can be used anywhere, as we have to work with the Java nowadays. So Java and the Kotlin. So Kotlin is a new language in the market, and it works well than Java nowadays, and people want to learn more about that. So it can be used to develop your Android apps, server side apps, and much more. Just like whatever we have done in a Java, that we work with a Kotlin also. So it's Android development, we use this language. So the Kotlin, we can say it is a strictly type program. Again, it is developed by the JetBrains. So JetBrains that launches the Kotlin. And if you know about the basic knowledge of a Java, so you will able to do that your Kotlin. So you can do it in a short time. And this Kotlin tutorial is designed for the beginners, so I will explain to you very well, just your basic steps you have to learn on that. So the Kotlin and Java interportable, which means you can use them together in a project. Okay, sometimes whatever be your Java and you want to convert it into Kotlin, you can also do that, or you can work with a mix. So the syntax of the Kotlin is concise than Java. In this tutorial, you will learn why we use Kotlin and what are the advantage and disadvantage of the Kotlin. So if we're talking about the history, so the Kotlin was developed by JetBrains teams, and a project was started in 2010. Okay, so what we say that it is started at 2010 to develop a language officially. So first released in Feb 2016. So it is good, you have to learn the history of that. So the Kotlin was developed under the Apache 2.0 license. Because of some languages we need license on that. So if you are into Android, you would have to know about the Kotlin. And Android development since Google I/O held in 2019. Kotlin was introduced by the company JetBrains in the year 2010 and was open source since 2012. So the team was decided to name the Kotlin language after the Russian island located near the head of the Gulf of Finland. So this is on the Russian island, the name they suggest for the Kotlin. So Kotlin is the name of island, and 32 kilometers west of the St. Petersburg in the Baltic Sea, named Kotlin Island. So the name Kotlin introduced it. So there is no need to say how important to learn Kotlin, as it was being adopted exponentially every year and already have been adopted by many startups and the Fortune 500 companies. So if we're talking about the features of the Kotlin, we can say that it's concise. So the Kotlin reduces writing the extra code. So that means we can do it in a short way, and that shorten the code. And null safety, it is a null safety language. Kotlin aim to eliminate the null pointer exceptions. Interpretable, that means it is easily cause the Java code in natural way. And smart cast, that means typecast very easily, we can do that. Completion time, it has a better performance and fast completion time compared to your Java, and tool friendly Kotlin programs are built use the command line as well as Java IT. And extension functions also be there, so that support the extension function, extension properties. So why Kotlin? So learning today that Kotlin doesn't any help you in a development, but for those who want to work on the multi-platforms like backend, web, Kotlin is a gift. So the Kotlin is a multi-platform programming language. It's so very easy to learn specifically for Java developers and helps to write the less code when compared to the other language. Code safety, we can say that, and interoperability, that's Java, which means we can use both Java and Kotlin combined. So it was the most loved language by Android developments nowadays. So you must learn that. And so the basics of a Kotlin, for any language, there are three constructs primarily to learn about the going to advanced level. Number one, learning alphabets for the languages, learning variables in the programming, and constructing sentences with the learned alphabets is like a coding statements with variables and combining sentences together to form a paragraph bodies. Okay, so that's the basic learn. We have to just say we have work on the Kotlin. So if we compare it with the Java, so we can say the Kotlin combines features of both object-oriented and functional programming, whereas Java is limited to the OOPs. And Kotlin allows user to create an extension function while Java doesn't offer any extension function. Kotlin doesn't offer implicit conversions, Java support implicit conversions. So that's here the Java get benefit. There are no null variables or sub objects in Kotlin. On the other hand, null variables are object at the part of the language. Okay, so that is Kotlin is null safety. So the Kotlin doesn't support static members while Java uses the static members. And the Kotlin variables of primarily type or objects, while in Java variables primarily types are not objects. So these are the basic differences whenever you go for the choose the Java or a Kotlin, but you have to learn both, I think. So if you learn the both languages, that's good for you. And also we can say that Kotlin supports lambda expressions where Java doesn't support. And Kotlin doesn't require any variable data type specifications, just like as we have done in PHP. So the same Java requires the data type specifications, just like your strings, integer, float, like. And Kotlin doesn't require any variable data type as and semicolons also we do not need one. But Java programming needs semicolons. That means we have to stop on every statement. So language scripting capabilities allows to use the Kotlin directly in your Gradle build scripts while Java doesn't offer. So if we go for the applications of a Java in a market, so best application, top applications, apps be there, Spotify, Twitter, Cash App, Signals, Amaze File Manager. And what are the challenges if we go for the Kotlin? So Kotlin is not so popular at this time because of people are in learning mode. And Kotlin matches the weak patterns initial code readability because it becomes a bit difficult to read and understand. It has a small support community. Kotlin has steep learning curve, and there are very few Kotlin developers available in the market. So finding an experienced mentor is quite tricky because of this is in a learning mode. So we can say that it is not so popular. So the developer community is sparse compared to other. Kotlin matches the weak patterns. Initially, code readability become a bit difficult. It has small spot communities. Okay, so that means it is younger than Java. But in 3 or 4 years, it will get a great boom in the market. So here, Pinterest, Trello, Evernote, Twitter for Twitter, and Shadow Socks. So that's with the applications in market. That's on Google Apps. That's for Kotlin. Okay, if you go for the advantage of the Kotlin, we can say the less code is important, but there is readability that also should be considered and desirable improve. So with Kotlin, you receive them both. So JetBrains did their best to make the languages concise. So that means it shortened the code as much as possible. It solved the developer challenges. That means it came from the industry. So needed a simpler tool than Java to work with the main product. Adopting Kotlin is if you want to facilitate the product maintenance and streamline custom Android app development, you can make it in easy way. Just learn in few days. And fully compatible with Java. So that means whenever you work with the Java, that's little differences on that, and it is compatibility with the Java, and it developer have access to all Java frameworks and libraries. You can get access that. It imposes no runtime overhead. The central library is small and tight. It consists mostly of focus extensions to the Java standard library. Okay, has a strong community. We can say that JetBrains is a constantly improving the language. So it's committed to the project. Has a large and highly competent team. We can say that with your other languages. Okay, and it gives you just more safety languages, so that means it is a safe because of semantics, the principle that prevent a variety of common mistakes usually happening during the program execution. Another reason for Kotlin's higher level safety, so the small bugs or small issues of language can solve it easily. Fluctuations, compilations, in many cases such as performing incremental build, Kotlin is faster than Java. Response of the Kotlin. It remains a clear winner when it comes to creating clean build for the Android apps. And Kotlin increases the popularity. In a Google announced it as the first class Android app development programming language, has certainly increased number of. That means the market is comparatively better than Java. Limited learning resources. So the number of Android app developers switching the Kotlin is increasing almost every day. So the limited number of resources available. It has a great disadvantage. It is still not Java because of Java has a much popularity on that case, but it's growing because of it is a younger but growing. So here are some important assignment questions for you. That's why the Kotlin is important, advantage, features, and Java versus Kotlin. And one new thing is why it is the strong interpolation. So just you have to think about that, and we have to learn a lot in our coming sessions with the practical of the Kotlin and give you the more assignments on that. So thank you so much for the day.